Okay, so hello everyone. I want to welcome you back in this session where I'm going to be showing you a top-down analysis. So now, I personally do analyze the markets, okay? So after this, I think we shall be going in for some Zoom lessons, and then where I don't understand, then I'll be telling you how to do it, okay? So the first thing is always that so if you look, before I go any further, so if you look over here, so let me first delete this, and also delete this. So also delete this, okay? So now if you look over here, okay, so if you look here where my time frames are, I'm having the daily, I'm having the 4-hour time frame, I'm having the 1 hour, and then I'm having the 15 minutes, and then I'm having the 5 minutes, and then the 3 minutes. So from 3 to 15 minutes, these are my times of entries, okay? And then from 1 hour to daily, these are my time frames for identifying trends, stuff like that. So what tools am I going to be using here? So I'm going to be using, so let me first delete all the drawings, okay? Let me remove the drawings. So good. So how do I analyze the market? So these are the tools that I'm going to be needing. I'm going to be using the trend line, okay? I'm going to be using the info line, and then I'm going to be using the rectangular tool, and then I'll be using the gun box. That's like a Fibonacci. Yeah, I think those are the only tools that I'll be using here. So what do I do first? So let me anchor my text over here. So what's the first thing that I always do? So I always look at the daily time frame, okay? So I'm going to look at the daily, okay? Daily time frame. So what do I look for in the daily time frame? So it's really easy. I'm going to be looking for my swing low and then swing high, okay? I'm going to be looking for swing low and then swing high, okay? And swing high. So that's the only thing I'm going to be looking for in the daily time frame, okay? So after me doing that, what do I do next? So let me do that. So let this be our number one. So this is our number one, okay? Let me bring it over here. So that's my number one, okay? So let's identify that. So I'm going to find my swing low using the trend line, okay? So how do I find these levels? So I'm going to look at price came, price did that, and then price came back here. So let me look for the longest candle, which is this over here. So now let me mark it out, okay? So let me mark it out. So that's my swing low, okay? And then I'm going to do the same for the swing high. So if you look here, I'm going to look for the longest candle. So price came, price came, price came, price came. So if I look here, I'm seeing this level being my what? My highest level, okay? So I'm going to mark out that. So let me do that, okay? Let me do that. So after me drawing these two levels, okay? After me drawing those levels, so meaning that my area of focus is going to be from here, okay? From here to that level over there, okay? So I'm all eyes at that point. So after me doing that, what do I do next? So I'm going to drop to the 4-hour time frame, okay? I'm going to drop to the 4-hour time frame. So let me include it here. 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame. So 2 is 4-hour time frame, okay? 4 hours. So what do we look for in the 4-hour time frame? So in the 4-hour time frame, we're going to adjust, okay? Adjust our swing levels that we've drawn in the daily time frame, and then we shall use the gun box, okay, to identify the areas of premium and discount, okay, whereby in the premium we shall be getting our supply, and then in the discount we shall be getting our demand, okay? So let's do that. So let me go to the 4-hour time frame. So for this case, we can use that 4-hour or the 1 hour, okay? It depends on how the market is playing out, okay? So actually another thing is that I'm going to be looking for, I'm going to use the Fib, okay? I'm going to use the Fibonacci or the gun box, but for this case, I'm going to be using the gun box, okay? I'm going to use the gun box to find my premium, okay? To find premium, let me just do premium and discount, okay? And discount in this case. Whereby in premium, I'll be looking for my supply, okay? In premium, I'll be finding my supply, okay? Premium, I'll be looking for supply, and then discount, I'm going to be finding my demand, okay? My demand. So let me do that. So this is what I'm going to be looking for in this case on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, so how do I find these areas? So it's very easy. So another thing is that before, actually I'd forgotten something. So in the 4 hour still, we're going to find the break off structure. Okay, so let me add it here. Let me put a comma and then put the break off structure, which is the boss. Okay, the break off structure. So if you look, how do we find the level, the break off structure rather? So this is how we find it. Okay, this is how we find the level, or rather the break off structure. So if you look here, okay, so how do you find a break off structure? So let me first give you an easy example now to find a break off structure. So once price is making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then the previous higher high is broken. Okay, once the previous higher high is broken by the current higher low, let's assume this. Okay, so this becomes a break off structure. So it means that this high has been broken by current price now. Okay, so this level that has been broken, it is going to become our what? It is going to become our break off structure. Okay, I think you got that. Actually, I don't want to make this video so long. Okay, so I'm trying to wind up things on how I do analyze the markets, me individually. So now if you look here, okay, so if you look, price was from the was from the downside. I mean, was from the upside. Okay, so now if you look over here now, okay, I'm having actually a change of character at this point, and I think it really works also. Okay, it really works. So after we getting our change of character, we shall get something like but let's assume this is a break off structure. Okay, because that's the main thing that I'm looking at here. So now, after me knowing that this is a break off structure, so it means that there is a low that led to the break off structure. Okay, so that means that there's a level that led to the break off structure. So if this is the level, actually, if this is the break off structure, okay, it means that there is a low that led to the break off structure. Okay, so this is the low over here. This is the low over here that led to the break off structure, this low over here. So how did I find this low? So that's your question, right? So if you look at price was doing this. Okay, price was doing that. Okay, so now if you look, this was the last low in price. Okay, so it means that I'm going to consider the last low, which is this over here. Okay, so now I'm going to adjust I'm going to be adjusting my swing low. Okay, so this is my new swing low over here. So it means that my interest has shifted from this low to this low now. So it means that I'm going to be focusing at this area over here. I'm going to be focusing at this area at this point, this area over here. Okay, so that's my area of interest at this point. So let me delete that. So now I'm going to bring out my gun box. Okay, I'm going to bring out my gun box from the swing low, okay, to the swing high. Okay, so if you look now, so this is my discount. So actually I'm having levels here. So the level that is below 0.05, which is 0.5, is called the discount. Okay, it's the discount. And then the level that is above the 0.5 is called a premium. Okay, so this is a premium. Okay, so what do we do at this point? So once price is in the premium, I only sell. Okay, and if price is back in the discount, that's when I buy. We can't buy higher prices. Okay, we only buy low prices, and then we can't sell low prices. Okay, we only buy low prices. Okay, so that's the math over there. So after we finding all of this, okay, so now we've gotten our supply and demand, rather the premium and discount. We've gotten the break-off structure, and then what are we left with? So we're only left to find the supply or demand. So if price is in the upside, we shall be looking for what? For demand. Okay, and then if price is to the downside, we're going to be looking for supply. Okay, so now let's do that. So how do we find the demand? We shall be looking at that in further videos. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight this area over here. So if you look here, that count over there, so that's so I'm going to delete this. Okay, I'm going to delete this, and then also delete that. and then also delete this. Okay, so now I'm having a new level, which is this. So this is my demand zone. Okay, it's the demand. Okay, it's called a what? So let me just do this instead. Let me call this demand. Okay, sorry. Let me call this demand. So that's my demand. Okay, that's my demand zone. So this is my demand. So after me finding my demand, what do I do next? So I know that now price is going to come back here. Okay, price is going to come back here, and then that's when I'll be executing my buys to the upside. Okay, because I know that price will come and then form a new higher high. Okay, that's the case. Price will come and form a new higher high. Okay, so now let me go to the 1 hour time frame. So what do I do in the 1 hour time frame? So if you look closely, okay, so if you look at price, okay, so now we all know that price will have to come back to the demand zone. Okay, we all know that price will have to come back to the demand zone, okay, for us to buy. But actually you can take advantage of this pullback to this point over here, you get. So that's how I do things the easiest way. Okay, so now after me doing that, I know that price has to come back here. But what do I do in the 1 hour time frame? So this is what I always look at in the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour, I'm going to look for the change of character. Okay, I'm going to look for the choke. I'm going to look for the choke. Okay, I'm going to look for the choke. Sorry, I'm going to look for the choke. I'm going to look for the choke. Okay, sorry, this is number 3 actually. I'd forgotten something. So that's number 3. Okay, I'm going to be looking for choke. So how do I get to know my choke? Okay, so this is how I do find my choke. Okay, so once the low, okay, once the low to the new high is broken by price. Okay, so let's assume this is price. Okay, then price does this. So once this low that led to this high is broken by current price, actually that becomes a change of character. Okay, so this point that has been broken becomes a choke. Okay, so this point here becomes a choke. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. So if you look here now, so if you trace price, you can see that price gave me this, gave me this, gave me this, gave me this. So price gave me this low that led to this high. Okay, and once this low is broken by price, okay, it means that there is a change of character. Okay, so now let's do that. So now price came and then this level is broken. So it means that I'm having a change of character at this point. So it means that at any point I need to be buying. Okay, I need to be selling for targeting for this level over here. So now what do we do here? So now this is what we do. So after we knowing that this level has been broken by price, this low, it has been broken by price. So now it's time for us to enter. Okay, so how do I find my entry? Still, I'm going to be using my gun box. Okay, I'm going to use the gun box and then find an area. Once price comes back here, I'm going to look for that candle that led to the break of change of character rather. Okay, so I'm going to be marking out this candle which is here, which is in my premium. Okay, we all know that in premium we only do what we sell. Okay, so once price taps in this level, I'm going to be selling. So, okay, so now after price doing that, okay, so I know that that's my entry. Okay, that's my entry. So once price comes back and taps into this zone, I know I need to target for this over here. And where do I put my stop loss? My stop loss is always at this high. Okay, it was this high that was broken, that price didn't respect. Okay, so because remember that you say that led to the break of structure. Actually this high led to the break of structure, which led to the change of character. Okay, so I'm going to put my stop loss here. Okay, that's where I put my stop loss. Okay, and then target for the demand. So for more information about this, I think you'll be DMing me. Maybe we shall be analyzing more and more. So that's the way I do trade. Okay, so after we know that price will come here and then price will have to continue to the upside. Okay, breaking this high, forming a new higher high. Okay, so this is all internal structure. Okay, at this point, so I'm going to be ending this video here. Thank you for watching, guys. I sign out. Yes, sir.